The MVP race is heating up. 4-man trade, including the Wolves and the Mustangs. And can the Liberty ride the backs of Josh and Jalen all the way to the championship? All that coming up on this episode of On Record. Jalen, hit that intro. Welcome back to the, 11th episode? I think it's 11th or 12th episode of On Record. My name's Chad Clayman. We got a lot to get to. Last week, we weren't able to do a show of On Record, so we got 2 weeks to catch up on. We have some big news, big trade that happened, and, a couple other things I'd like to touch on throughout the show. So, before we get into all that, I would like to thank our official sponsor, the VFW of Ohio Charities. They do so much in our community. They help us out a lot. Be cool if you go to the website, vfwohiocharities.com, check out what they do in our community and what they can do to help you, or what you can do to help them. So, week 4, we had Jalen.myers with an outstanding performance with the Liberty. 42 points, shot 16-30, 21 boards, 5 assists to go along with 3 steals. That performance helped beat the Wolves 90-83. Together, Jalen and Josh combined for 50 shots, and the other rest of the team had 27 shots combined. So you can tell Jalen and Josh are the big dogs on that team there. So Michael himself had 20 points, 9 rebounds, so he did all right. Mustangs ended up losing to the Lions in a pretty big game, 55-76. Mass Bayak was nowhere to be found, only had 3 points. There's rumors his back is giving him some problems. Hope he gets that figured out, gets better, and gets back in to game form. Jake Schmeltz added 24 points to that game. Bedcameron had a pretty solid game, 14 points, 12 boards, and Jared, who's having an excellent season, had 10 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. So that's really awesome to see him having a really good game. Some side note there, Alec Gregg did end up walking off that game in a little bit of frustration with the team, and I'll touch more on that later. Pistons, Vandals. The Pistons ended up beating the Vandals by 10, 53-43. Josh Grissom with the big game, 15 points, 6 boards, shooting 60%. The boy said it, for a while now. He's a huge component of that team and what makes them click. Kyle Artino, 12 points, 10 rebounds. He's one of our few big men we have in the league, and he's definitely eating it up. So, Adam Bevier helped the 419ers defeat the Kings 62-60. He had 20 points, 8 rebounds, 6 steals. He's playing hell of a good basketball right now in the 6th season here in the LBL. Dylan Semler, 17 points, 4 rebounds. He shot 5 from 8 from the 3-point line. He's, again, doing excellent in this season. There's a lot of people who've taken the next step in this season 6, really took it to the next level with their play. So, going on, say some of the Week 5, or all the Week 5 games here. The Pistons ended up beating the Liberty by 1 point. What a game, 73-72. Josh Grissom with another outstanding performance, 26 points, 12 rebounds. He shot 81%. He was 13 of 16 from the field. So, man, Josh, keep it up. Also, noteworthy, Dallas Kiefer had had a 21-point game, had 5 boards. He played great. Unfortunately, though, Jalen's 29 points and 5 boards just wasn't enough. So, I think it was disheartening for the Liberty to lose that game, but I think they have the 2 best players in the league, and I think they can go a long way still. 419ers and the Wolves. The 419ers had 90. The Wolves had 72. Malik's been an absolute force since coming back into the LBL. Wasn't in the first couple weeks. He had 41 points and 16 boards. He shot 64%. That's right on par with his field goal percentage from last year. It's part of the reason why he won the MVP. Matt Ayers, to tack on 31 points to Malik's 41. What a performance from the two. Matt Ayers was quoted on saying on Twitter that they are the best duo in the league. So that's a bold statement, but numbers don't lie. So what a performance by those two. Also, this was the first game that Tyler Layton and Alec Gregg played together. There was a trade involving, this is the first game. They were supposed to show up and play each other week 6. But instead they play together on the same team week 5. Tyler had 21 points, 7 boards. Alec had 17 points, 6 boards. So actually, Alec was the third. He shot the third most in that game, behind Tyler, and behind I forget who the leading one was. I don't know, but I think if he can kind of continue to share the ball around and show that he's not one to just chuck up shots, that he can fit into a system and he can play good basketball. This Wolves team is going to be dangerous. They did fall short to the 419ers, but that was again that Michael Bennett was not there. They were out without their star man, so I would like to see them play well together, continue playing well together. I think they will. So Claude Monday also helped. Claude Monday had 31 points, but it wasn't enough to beat the Mustangs. Not even close. The Kings fall to 0-5. And the Mustangs defeat them 74-59. The Lions fell to the 0-4 Vandals. What a surprise, what a shock to many. I think the Lions are, if not the best team, the second best team in the league. The Liberty, I think, are the best, but the Lions are super close, and to see them fall short to the Lions really makes me, pause for a second. One of the biggest things the Lions have going for them is their cohesiveness and their ability to play with each other really well, share the ball, pass it around, and I'd like to see that. But sometimes if you don't have somebody that can just take over a ball game, or someone who's not willing to, it can really hurt you in the end. So Ben Cameron though had 16 points, 11 boards. Jake Schmeltz finished with 19 points. Dylan Davis, though, what a game. 10 points, 6 boards, 7 assists, 2 steals. That man's always putting up those type of numbers, right on the cusp of a triple-double almost every game. And what a shooting performance by the guy, Eric Wolfram. Had 21 points, all of them from three-point land, 7 of 10. Wow, man, that was a great performance. Definitely helped lead your team to that first W. So congratulations on your performance there in Week 5, Eric Wolfram. After Week 5, these are the rankings. We have the 419ers at 4-9. They sit at the top of the league. The Pistons, who are 4-1, they sit in a solid position right behind the Liberty, who are 3-2 at number 3. The Lions are 3-2 at number 4. And really, it's pretty much, it gets clustered down towards the end. Some people thought the Wolves were going to be one of the better teams in the league. Unfortunately, they fall into 2 and 3. They really just haven't clicked, haven't found what really works for them. You can tell when they go into the game, they really don't have much of a plan. You can tell they have all the pieces. They just don't have much of a plan to put it all together. So maybe they'll figure it out before it ends. Maybe they'll end up putting someone back on the trading block. There's rumors of that going around. So they have until at the end of Sunday, Week 6, at 11:59 p.m. to make another trade, as does everybody. So we'll see what they do. But if that trade can work out, I think they'll be all right. Who do you guys think is the best team in the LBL? Me? I'm still going to stick with the Liberty. The 419ers have been making a huge statement, though. And I think it's going to come down to 3 teams. I think it's going to be the Liberty, the 419ers and the Lions. 419ers are looking tough, man. Malik brings a whole style change to the game. They, like I said, they were going to have Darius Vincent at the beginning of the season. So once you bring in, swap him out with someone like Malik, it just shifts the whole dynamic of the team and how the game's played. So, I mean, they're 4-1 now. They've beat a lot of good teams. The only loss was in Week 3 to the Lions. So, you know what? I'm sure they can take that loss. And that was without Malik, I'm pretty sure, too. So, we'll see what happens going forward. But hopefully the Kings can pick up a W. Their last 2 games are against the Vandals and against the Wolves. Both of them, I think, are winnable. But I definitely would like to see Dylan Semler and the Kings pull out a W this season. But, again, let us know who you think is the best in the league right now. Not who you think is going to win the championship. Who's in the best spot and position in the league right now after Week 5 and going into Week 6. Like to touch on another touchy topic. We have the MVP race coming up, or heating up. And my prediction at the beginning of the season was that Michael Bennett was going to have a stellar breakout season in which he'd pull through and win the MVP. Unfortunately, it's not really looking that way. Michael's averaging, I believe it's 18 points, 12 rebounds, not shooting the greatest of percentage. I think it's 22% from 3. I think it's around 35% field goal. And so, I expected more from Michael. I still think he has it in him. He has 3 more weeks to go. And, if he wins out, another thing that's taken into consideration when you're voting for an MVP is their team record. Can he lead them to a winning record? So that's going to be a big part of who can win, who does win the MVP is how can they lead their team and to what record. So I think he has a shot. Again, he has to ball out for the rest of the season. But I think at the top of the standings, hurts to say it, I got to go with Jalen Myers. He's having a heck of a season, man. That 42-point game, wow, 21 boards. Malik hasn't even done that this season. So what a performance. He's averaging 26 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and a block, shooting 51% from the field. So can't get much better than that. I'm going to tell you my top 3 here. You got Josh Williams, and you have Jake Smeltz. I think you can flip-flop them all you want. But when that Liberty have arguably, the 2 best players in the league on their team, and they really are showing it. Josh is averaging 22 points and 7 boards. Maybe they can win the co-MVP. Maybe they can just cut that trophy in half and just give it to each other. But unless Jake Smeltz has something to say about that, he's been having a stellar season, leading his team to a 3-2 record. Unfortunately, losing to the Vandals last week, but he's been doing great all season. He's averaging 24 points and shooting a high percentage as well. So it's going to be hard for somebody to dethrone Jalen right now, to be honest. He's on a run for the ages in the LBL right now. So I'm excited to see him continue to do what he's doing. And I don't know. Let me know who you think is in the lead for MVP. Now, I was just talking about Jalen and Josh, how they are the best duo in the league, or how I think they're the best players in the league on the same team. And is that enough? I'm starting to question that now. Jalen and Josh are a huge part. I mean, biggest part of a team in the LBL. There's not many other teams that solely rely on two people like Liberty do. You have their other starting five: Dylan Sabo, you got Kurt, and you got Braden Moon. Dylan's a good spot-up shooter, can't really create too much by himself. Kurt Myers, their biggest man they have, and if the Liberty are lacking in one area, it's their size. Braden Moon tries to pick it up, and he does decent, but there's a couple big men down there that'll definitely give it problems. And the next big man's Chad Baxter, and he's more he knows more where to be than he brings that physical element as a big man to the game. So he's really not even a big man himself, and to see that team struggle on the boards, to see that team struggle physically, it's going to hurt them in the playoffs, because that's when the physicalness really goes up a notch. So there's really not many other playmakers on that team. Braden can sometimes get his own shot. He can be a little shifty in the lane, but it's gonna rely solely on Jalen and Josh. Coming back to it, they have to have big games, and if one of them are slacking a little bit one week, the other has to pick that up. Because, to be honest, I don't expect the rest of their roster to pick it up. You got to ride Jalen and Josh all the way to the championship, and hope they can continue their excellence throughout the playoffs. Because one bad game and they're done. So it'll be interesting to see once they get to the playoffs, though, how they can how teams will counter what they bring to the table. I touch on the trade between the Wolves and the Mustangs a tad bit. I don't know. You tell me who you thought won the trade after week 5. You got to see them play together. The Mustangs received Tim and Jake Schwiefert for Alec Gregg and Cam Hemphill. So it was a risky trade, I do believe, for the Wolves. You're bringing in somebody who sometimes can have a hard time mixing in with the team, but is a very, very skilled player. Can shoot the lights out, and I'm talking about Alec Gregg here. Can shoot the lights out. One hell of a basketball player. Just sometimes can get a little confrontational and butt heads with some teammates. So, I think if Michael can help bring him into the team, have the team, corral around him, and bring him in, I think there's good possibilities they do some good things. But I think all in all, the better deal went to the Mustangs. Jake, he was a GM, former GM of the Vandals. He brings an element to the game, some big, tough, deeds can be done through him down low. And I think a lot of people underestimate what Tim brings to the table. Tim, before he got traded, he had a heck of a game. I think he put up about 25 points. It was either like 23, 25 points, something like that, before he got traded. So I think it was a risky move for the Wolves. I think it was a safe and good bet for the Mustangs. And it could end up working for both teams. But week 5, it didn't work for the Wolves. So we'll see where they end up. And I did mention this earlier, that Alec Gregg, in his debut with the Wolves, did shoot the third most. So I think he was able to realize that, on this team there are a lot of different scorers, and, he needs to, find his role on that team. And I think that showed he's willing to try to learn his role and find that role and really do really well for the Wolves. So I'm excited to see what Alec can do. I think he's going to do really good, and fitting in with Tyler and Michael. It's going to be really fun to see them work together. I think that wraps up most of it. Before I leave, I do want to talk to you about some news going around the LBL, some things I want to touch base on with before I go. I mentioned it before. The trade deadline is week 6 after our games at 11:59. Once it hits Monday morning at 12 a.m., no more trades are allowed. So be sure to get all your inquiries in and put up on the trade block who you wish, because it's getting near the trade deadline. Stat keepers, please make sure to write down your name on the paper. We're trying to figure out better ways to keep the stats. We're still having issues. Make sure you pay attention during the games. Learn everyone's names. That's why we have you write them down, so you can ask, what's everyone's name, what everyone's name is, and you can, learn. That's part of it's part of this basketball league. We want to make sure everybody knows everybody, that no one feels isolated, or bring everybody in. This is one big LBL family, so get to know everybody, and I think that'll go a long way with help making the stats better too. So we are also, if not this upcoming Sunday, next Sunday, we will have teams for each individual Twitters for each individual team. So we want to create a lot of fandom. We want to try to get everyone involved. Family members, siblings, moms, dads, friends, co-workers. Tell them what you're doing. This is a really cool thing. We're going to be selling some apparel, some clothings, and that's going to be something that we also are going to try to do to create some more fandom. So please let everyone know you can about it. Tell them that we live stream our games on YouTube. Tell them how to get there. Tell them about our Instagram, how they can win, dope jerseys. And if you have any suggestions about how we can make this league better for you, if you have any ideas, let us know. You have my number. Next week, Tyler Alt will be joining the show. Excited to have him on here. And if you'd like to be a guest, let me know. We do them Friday mornings, anywhere from 9 to 10 o'clock is when we get here at Grumpy Dave's. Also, big shout out to Grumpy. Good guy back there. And then also, again, let us know. We haven't heard too many suggestions about where you think a second location for the LBL would suffice. We are still looking. We have a couple ideas, but please give us more. And I think that's it. So, again, big week 6 coming up. Very big. And we hope to see you there. If you can't make it, make sure to go on YouTube and watch us. But thank you for tuning in. Hope to see you soon. Chad Clayman out.